You know that feeling when you're on the fence about trying something and then when you actually do it, you're really glad that you went along with it? Well, that happened to me this past weekend after I went to my first ever meetup. This is something that I've considered in the past but never actually went through. And I have to say, even though I've heard horror stories or that they are pretty hit or miss, for it being my first time, I've had a wonderful experience. The group was really welcoming, and definitely this is something that not only do I plan on continuing to do, but something that I would recommend anyone to try out at least once, because it's something that'll push you out of your comfort zone, and you never know who you're gonna meet, and you might actually end up having a better time than you think. I moved to a new city a couple months ago, and with everything that's been going on, it's been kind of a challenge to meet new people, and I ended up on the meetups app again. And while browsing, I happened to find a group that was specifically for people who are working remotely. I took a look at the group and I saw that it was pretty active, had a decent size, and I decided to, say what the heck and join. I joined, took the initiative, and I introduced myself, and a couple members from the group replied, which, I'm gonna be honest, put me at ease because it gave me some initiative to actually go to the event. Plus, worst case, if I had trouble integrating myself into any of the group, the cliques that within the group, I could just default to those that introduce themselves back to me when I joined the group. Fast forward to the day of the meetup, I was still fighting some doubts in the back of my mind about whether I should go or not, but I fought through, got dressed after work, and went out to the location. And when I got there, I recognized some of the members of the group, went ahead, a few members recognized me, and I just introduced myself. Everyone was very welcoming, and I'm aware that if you're someone who gets anxious or uncomfortable in social settings, people are a lot nicer if you show up with a good attitude. They'll welcome you, and I don't want to say let their guard down, but they'll be more open to interacting with you than if you go with a bad attitude. You know what I mean? And once I got there, things just started to flow naturally. Having conversations, learning about the different people, where they're from, what brought them to the city, what they do for work, and things like that. And all the different scenarios that I was overthinking in my head, they just disappeared, and I just started to really be in the moment and enjoy it. I know that this kind of situation can be uncomfortable for a lot of people, but if I were to give some recommendations on how to approach it, I would say you're gonna be uncomfortable. You have to accept that and deal with that. But truth is, a lot of the times, it's not the people that make the atmosphere. It's you make your own atmosphere. You define, before you even get to a place, you can define whether you want to have a good time or a bad time. If you show up with a shitty attitude, it doesn't matter who's there or where you go, you'll probably have a bad time. Same thing, if you go with a positive attitude, very likely you're gonna enjoy yourself no matter who's there or what you're doing. The first recommendation would be that go with a positive, outgoing attitude. Second would be to introduce yourself to everyone. Don't assume some people are more important than others. Don't talk to women over guys. Talk to everyone. Say hi to everyone. Don't go with any expectation. Just be sure to introduce yourself. You're there just to try something different. If you're still uncomfortable, or maybe you haven't been able to break through the mental barrier of having a bad attitude, then give yourself at least 1 or 2 hours. Spend some time there. See how it goes, and then maybe, if you're still having that much of a bad time, then consider leaving. But sometimes we don't like to accept it, but it's on us to actually make the effort, the initiative. We don't improve our situation because we don't want to, and that's something very important. Your mindset has to start shifting towards being more what could go right instead of what could go wrong. Also, don't be a creep. Don't stalk any other woman in the group. Don't compete with anyone, trying to one up people saying you make X amount of money or you work in this or that or you have this connection or whatever. No, you just go with the flow, see what happens, and just talk. They're just people. They're not gonna bite you. They're not 10 feet tall or anything. Just learn to enjoy the moment. It's a good place to learn to read the room. It'll definitely give you a confidence boost if you get used to putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations. If you're more of the outgoing type, something that just a small recommendation I could give you is to actually look for a group that's completely outside your interests, something that you normally wouldn't do, people or with people you wouldn't normally talk to. This is going to be really helpful in giving you a new perspective on many different things. Just go out there and see what happens. Expose yourself to the different things. The more you expose yourself, the more you'll learn. No matter how uncomfortable a situation is, the more you do it and expose yourself to it, the more you become desensitized to it in a way. And especially if you feel like you struggle with social anxiety and things like that, don't be afraid to, take practice runs. Just one bad meetup doesn't mean that the next one's gonna be bad. At the end of the day, just remember you're going there to enjoy yourself. You make your own experience. Don't let what others are doing or not doing define if you're having a good time or not. That would be my top tip for anyone who wants to try it out. As for me, I do plan on going to more meetups. I actually have one scheduled for this weekend. It's with another group. I'm expanding, trying out new things, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's all I have for you tonight. I'm curious if you want to share what's been your experience with meetups so far. Go ahead and please share in the comments. If you like this video, be sure to give it a like. If you're interested in keeping up with me and seeing more of my content, subscribe. I appreciate it if you made it this far, and thank you for watching.